Hi, this is Jody King-Colgrove with Quantum Techniques. We have developed a proven technique to quickly determine the root cause of your health issue using a form of energy medicine. I've worked with people all over the world on the phone, helping them to discover why they're having a health issue and what they can do about it. I know I've talked about this a lot, but I think that every time I find an article, I find it very, very helpful and fascinating, and I wanted to share. So it's talking about how to avoid hormones disrupting chemicals. And I think why it kind of caught me this time is because we have a wonderful new quantum technique scan that helps balance and also determine what hormones are not working correctly in your body. And we're finding it profoundly helpful. And so I think that's kind of what caught my eye. So to go over it again. So we have endocrine disrupting chemicals, and they are similar to our natural hormones, and that's what makes them really harmful. For women, it affects the sexual hormones like estrogen, and for males, it affects androgen and also the thyroid hormones. It interferes with the development, reproduction, and the neurological function, the metabolism for women, and also the immune system function. And the issue is that there's actually no safe exposure, so we shouldn't have them at all. It's really difficult when you see my list is how difficult it is to get those out of your body or not be in contact with it. So I'm just going to give an example of a couple of them. BPA plastics, which a lot of people have talked about or heard. Okay, there's also fire retardants, lead, mercury, arsenic, which they are finding a little bit that there is some arsenic in rice, and so people are starting to really get more organic rice because of that. So those are just some examples. Common exposures are personal care products, drinking water, canned and packaged foods, conventionally grown produce, and also like feedlots for animals. Also plastic and non-stick kitchenware. So all that wonderful, non-stick cookware that I really wanted when I got married, I had to get it all away. Cleaning products in your household. This is, I found interesting, household dust. And I never thought about that, but they talk about how to clean that up. Office products like toners and things like that, and cash register receipts. So why are they so bad for your body? What they do is they change the way your natural hormones travel through the body. And so that's why it's really important. We all have been exposed to this, and that's why it's really important with this new quantum technique scan where we can balance those, find out what's off, and put them back online is really, really helpful for the different symptoms that you have and how those hormones may be impacting things that you didn't even realize. So what can these things lead to health-wise? They can lead to obesity, infertility, lower or reduced fertility, learning and memory difficulties, type 2 diabetes. They can also lead to IQ loss and intelligent disabilities, autism, and attention deficit disorder. The other thing is that they also may lay the foundation for more diseases in the future. So I've just kind of listed a few there. So what can you do? So mostly try to avoid, okay? But how can you do that or make better choices? So the first thing is to switch to organic, especially when it comes to different products that you use on your face or personal care products like lotions and things like that. And try to cut down on the number that you do have, okay? Make sure that you have a really good quality drinking water. And I moved to an area where I was really used to having really good water, and then I moved to an area where it didn't have very good water. And so we were using a Brita filter. When we came up with this hormone test, we realized that we were getting too many of these kind of things in our drinking water. So we switched to a much more intense drinking water and filter system. And then I'm going to put in, there we have just manual, but it's a really good one. And then I have another one. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to switch to an even better one, which goes underneath the sink and things like that. The other thing you can do is make sure that your canned foods, or you don't use canned foods in packages that are in plastics. And I know that's hard. Just do your best to use more things that come in glass. Also things that, pesticides, fertilizers, and conventional industrial runoff can get into our produce. Also the animal farms and things like that are feedlots and things like that also carry a lot of hormones with them. So that we switching to organic is why that's really helpful. Wash everything, all the fruits and vegetables, even if it's organic. You just never know who's touched it and all that kind of stuff. High mercury fish, and we've heard about this a lot, and this is sometimes hard because my son absolutely loves tuna. So high mercury fish are things like shark, swordfish, king mackerel, marlin, sea bass, and tuna. So things that would be better to switch to are sardines, anchovies, mackerel, and herring. And I've actually tried the mackerel, and it's not too bad. So that would be a really good substitute that I've learned to kind of do. Also, wild-caught salmon is much, much better than having farm salmon, because there's farm salmon, they're really saying there's just so much dirt in the water and contaminants in the water in the farmed that it's really not good for you. Plastic containers, it's really important not to heat those in the microwave and things like that, so don't heat your food that way. So that's really important. And then, like I said, using glass containers. Also, you can use, for cooking and things like that, also you can use cast iron cookware. Those are good. We can also test if there's a certain cookware that you want to see if it's adding too many chemicals and affecting the hormones and things like that. Commercial solvents, so things like cleaning products to kind of avoid and kind of do more things that are green. Also make sure that the fragrances are not there. You can use things like vinegar and baking soda, and also if you do test good, you can add a little bit of like lemon with essential oil or something like that. Also, like I said, household dust, that really surprised me. So they say, what happens is a lot of times the furniture and the couches will come with that fire retardant on it, or carpet padding and mattresses, and then that dust gets in the air. And so if you're going to dust, wipe up with a wet cloth, and that way it'll capture it instead of just kind of sending it into the air. You can also put a filter on your vacuum, like a HEPA filter to help with that. Also, for office products, I thought this was interesting, is ink cartridges and also toners can be an issue. So a lot of times if you're going to be changing that, put on gloves and things like that. Cash register receipts. One thing I thought was interesting here is after 5 seconds of touching that, it gets transferred. The other thing is it gets transferred more quickly if you have grease on your fingers. So I found that interesting. I've been doing Visa receipts, forever, and so that's one of those things that I need to kind of work with, maybe doing gloves on from there. So I want to share those things with you so that you're aware on how chemicals can impact you, how they can affect your body and your natural hormones, and the best part is what can you do about it. You can give us a call at Quantum Techniques, and we can work on balancing your hormones and helping your body know which ones are out of balance, which ones are not working or functioning, or ones maybe over functioning, and bring those back into balance so that the symptoms that you have that you may have not realized were being impacted by those hormones can be worked on. So visit quantumtechniques.com and you can fill out a session request, and I can help test you to find out what that is. So blessings from Quantum Techniques.